Imagine a world long before T-Rex, a time when the first dinosaurs were just beginning their incredible journey. Our planet was a very different place, with one giant supercontinent called Gondwana. It was here, in what would one day become India, that a small, swift hunter roamed the land. Scientists have recently given this creature a name, Maleriraptor kuti. This is not just another dinosaur discovery, it's a window into a mysterious and turbulent chapter of Earth's history. Finding Maleriraptor is like finding a missing clue in the grand puzzle of how dinosaurs rose to rule the world, showing us that even the smallest creatures can have the biggest stories to tell. This little dinosaur lived about 220 million years ago, during a period known as the Late Triassic. At the time, India was not a separate country as we know it today, but was nestled within the southern part of the massive landmass of Gondwana. The fossils of Maleriraptor were discovered in a place called the Upper Malleri Formation, a special layer of rock that preserves the secrets of this ancient environment. This was a time of great change, and the world Maleriraptor inhabited was recovering from a major crisis, which makes its existence even more remarkable and important for us to understand. What makes Maleriraptor so exciting is its place in the dinosaur family tree. It was a predator, a meat-eater that likely hunted small animals, insects, and anything else it could catch. It belonged to a very early group of dinosaurs known as Herrerasaurids, which were some of the first true dinosaurs to walk the Earth. Before this discovery, most of the famous Herrerasaurids were found thousands of miles away in South America. The discovery of Maleriraptor in India proves that this pioneering group of dinosaurs was much more widespread than we ever imagined, spreading across the supercontinent in the wake of a global catastrophe. The story of Maleriraptor begins not with a new dig, but with a second look at old bones. The fossils were actually found many years ago, back in 1989, but they were not correctly identified at the time. Scientists initially thought they might belong to a different type of dinosaur, perhaps an early long-necked plant-eater. It took a fresh pair of eyes and new scientific techniques for researchers, led by Dr. Martin D. Ezcura, to realize they were looking at something entirely new. This re-examination shows how science is always moving forward, and how old discoveries can lead to brand new knowledge about the lost world of the dinosaurs. Maleriraptor was more than just a dinosaur, it was a survivor. It lived shortly after a massive global extinction event called the Carnian pluvial episode, which happened around 233 million years ago. This wasn't the famous asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs much later, but it was a devastating event in its own right. Huge volcanic eruptions spewed gas and ash into the atmosphere, causing the climate to change dramatically. The world experienced intense global warming and a long period of heavy rainfall that reshaped ecosystems and wiped out many species of plants and animals that had dominated the Triassic world. Before this extinction event, the world was full of large, plant-eating reptiles called rhynchosaurs. They were everywhere, munching on tough plants and forming the base of the food chain. But the Carnian pluvial episode was too much for them. The dramatic climate changes caused their food sources to disappear, and the rhynchosaurs went extinct. Their disappearance left a huge gap in the ecosystem. Suddenly, there was a lot of open space and opportunity for new kinds of animals to take over. This is the world that Maleriraptor and other early dinosaurs inherited and began to thrive in. The survival of Maleriraptor helps us fill in a blank spot in the fossil record that paleontologists call the early Nourian gap. After the Carnian extinction, we didn't have many fossils of predatory dinosaurs, like the Herrerasaurids, for a long time. It was as if they vanished, too. But Maleriraptor proves that they didn't. Instead, they survived the crisis and continue to evolve in places like India. This tiny predator shows us that the aftermath of an extinction isn't just about loss, it's also about opportunity, resilience, and the beginning of new dynasties, like the one that would lead to the dinosaurs' 150 million year reign. This little Indian dinosaur shows us how life can bounce back in surprising ways. while many larger animals perished. Small and adaptable predators like Maleriraptor were able to find new food sources and take advantage of the changed world. The extinction of the rhynchosaurs opened up a niche for new herbivores to evolve, which in turn created new hunting opportunities for predators. Maleriraptor's existence is a powerful lesson in how some groups of animals manage to endure through the planet's toughest times, setting the stage for the next great chapter in the history of life. Identifying a new dinosaur is like being a detective solving a very old mystery, and the clues are all in the bones. The scientists who studied Maleriraptor didn't have a full skeleton to work with. Instead, they had just a few precious pieces, part of the hip, some vertebrae from the base of the spine, the sacrum, and bones from the tail. Even from these fragments, they could piece together a picture of a unique animal. By carefully comparing these bones to those of other known dinosaurs, they realized they were looking at something that didn't quite fit any existing category, a new species waiting to be named. What made Maleriraptor's bones so special were the small details that set it apart from its relatives. For example, its hip bone, or ilium, was missing a specific groove called a brevis fossa, which is found in many other dinosaurs. The rim of bone above its hip socket was also unusually narrow. Furthermore, one of its sacral vertebrae, the bones that connect the spine to the hips, was uniquely long. These might sound like tiny differences, but in paleontology, they are the key features that help us understand how different species are related and how they evolved over millions of years. Another interesting feature was found in its pubis, a bone that points forward from the hip. Many predatory dinosaurs have an expansion at the end of this bone called a pubic boot, which helps anchor their powerful abdominal muscles. Maleriraptor, however, had a very weak or even absent pubic boot. This suggests that this feature, which was once thought to be a simple, straightforward part of dinosaur evolution, might have actually evolved independently multiple times in different dinosaur lineages. It complicates the story, but it also makes it much more interesting, showing us that evolution is not a straight line. By putting all these clues together, the scientists performed what is called a phylogenetic analysis. This is a method used to build a family tree for different species based on their shared and unique characteristics. The analysis confirmed that Maleriraptor was a very early predatory dinosaur, closely related to the Herrerasaurids from South America, but different enough to be placed just outside that classic group. Each bone, with its unique shape and structure, contributed a vital piece of information, allowing scientists to finally solve the puzzle and give this ancient Indian hunter its proper place in the grand story of life. The discovery of Maleriraptor does more than just add a new name to the list of dinosaurs. It helps us connect the dots between ancient continents. By finding a close relative of South American Herrerasaurids all the way in India, scientists can confirm that these early predators were truly widespread across the southern supercontinent of Gondwana. But the connection doesn't stop there. The climate during the Nourian stage, when Maleriraptor lived, was surprisingly similar between India and parts of what is now southern North America. This might explain why similar types of small predators were able to thrive in both regions. This story also has a human element that is just as important as the science. The species name Kuti was chosen to honor someone very special, T.S. Kuti. He was the paleontologist who originally discovered these very fossils back in the 1980s. At the time, the tools and knowledge weren't available to identify the bones as a new species of predatory dinosaur. Decades later, a new generation of scientists, using modern techniques, was able to reveal their true identity. Naming the dinosaur after T.S. Kuti is a wonderful way to pay tribute to his pioneering fieldwork and his lasting contribution to our understanding of India's prehistoric past. Every new fossil discovery, no matter how small, is a reason for excitement. Each bone is a time capsule, carrying information from a world that has been lost for hundreds of millions of years. Finds like Maleriraptor help us refine our understanding of evolution, extinction, and the incredible resilience of life. They challenge our old ideas and force us to draw a more complete and accurate picture of the past. They remind us that the history of our planet is written in the rocks beneath our feet, and there are still so many chapters left to be read, and so many incredible stories waiting to be unearthed. Ultimately, the tale of Maleriraptor cutii is a perfect example of why paleontology is such a thrilling field. It's a story of a small survivor that defied a global extinction, a puzzle of bones that revealed evolutionary secrets, and a discovery that connects distant lands and honors a scientific pioneer. It shows us that even after centuries of searching, the age of dinosaurs still holds countless surprises. As we continue to explore and re-examine fossils both old and new, we get closer to understanding the incredible, epic story of life on Earth and our own place within it.